What's up YouTube, Card Boss here, back in another video where we talk about cards, money, investing, and today's is a special video about my own personal buying experience with the recent Goldin auctions 2022 July edition in respect of Marvel cards, right, that ended not too long ago, about a week depending on when this video is gonna go up. Now I know what you guys are thinking, right? Auctions, right? How difficult can it be? And so Goldin, so what, right? It's just another auction website. You click away on the stuff that you want to buy, you know. So what's the big deal, right? Well, in today's video, I'm gonna share with you how to work the auctions from a card investor point of view, and how different is it from the Goldin perspective. It's not as simple as you may imagine it to be, right? So one thing that I didn't get to do to prepare for this video was to kind of like film the entire experience, right? But in fact, it was kind of like a 2-hour experience. So yeah, that's right. I spent like 2 hours sitting in front of the laptop trying to fight for certain items that I wanted to buy. But you know, in the end, there was just a couple, or in fact just one card that I bought. So this video is not about how to bid on auctions or how to bid on Goldin auctions specifically. It's just a story about how things went down in that auction for me personally. Alright, you guys ready? Let's go. Okay, for those who are unfamiliar or perhaps have not bid on Goldin platform before, the auction format is a bit different from the standard auction websites like eBay, right? So on eBay, there's a timer, and when the timer ends, say like 10 p.m. Eastern, the auction closes and the highest bid wins. As simple as that. You know, we're all familiar with that sort of simple format. You know, but it gives rise to certain things that you probably heard of, such as sniping, bots, and things like that. And sometimes you get to lose an auction at the very last second. This is something that we're all pretty used to, right? So I'm not going to get into the details because you guys know how it all works. And also, with any typical auction website, you have to register a payment method, and normally it's your credit card, right? And once that's all done, you feel free to bid on any card that you want, anytime that you want, right? So eBay sends you a bill at the end of each auction, and you got to make payment through a payment method of your choice, PayPal, credit card, whatever, right? Now, that's the basics of eBay. Then we have the PWCC weekly Sunday auctions, right? Which is similar to eBay, except the date and time is fixed. So obviously it's on a Sunday and it ends at 10 p.m. Eastern. But what's different from the PWCC and eBay is that we have this concept called extended bidding, where it gives opportunity for bidders who have actually bid on a particular item to top up the bid during the extended period, right? So that you prevent things like this last minute or last second sniping, right? And just in case you happen to walk away from the screen at the very last moment when the auction was ending at 9:59, so it gives you another chance or another certain points in time to put additional bids later on. But of course, if you have not put any bid before the actual auction time closing, you are disqualified from the extended bidding period, right? So it's only open to existing bidders who have at least placed at least one bid for that card. So that's pretty easy, right? So for PWCC, the first extended bidding period opens for 30 minutes from 10 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. And then if there's additional bids goes on, it goes on for a second period. And typically each extended period goes for about 5 minutes on top of the other. Okay, so from what I've seen for PWCC, normally a certain card goes for about maybe 2 to 3 extended biddings, and typically but within an hour you're all done. That's normally the case for PWCC. So now here comes Goldin, right? So very similar to PWCC with a little small important twist. Firstly, Goldin doesn't necessarily end on a Sunday. So depending on the item, be it Marvel or sports or whatever that you're interested in, the end time may be different on a different day of the week, right? So you have to kind of like mark your calendars accordingly, because I've known some stories whereby some people actually missed out on the auction because they forgot what day it ended, right? So the recent Marvel auction that I'm going to talk about today ended on a Thursday night, where I know some people actually missed it out completely, right? And secondly, with the extended bidding method that I talked to you about, yes, the first window is the same, right? So it gives you 30 minutes for place a fresh bid, right? But the whole bidding process actually stretches longer than PWCC because every extended period is 30 minutes instead of the 5 minutes that PWCC have. But the real twist is, unlike PWCC, right? So PWCC starts the extended period at a certain point in time. So you're saying like at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, and then it moves up from 10:35 to 10:40, and so on and so forth, right? But for Goldin, right, the extended period actually begins the moment that the new bid is being placed. So kind of like, for example, if you have a fresh bid that's been placed 5 minutes into the first extended bidding period, so the clock for 30 minutes gets refreshed into the next extended bidding period, right? So what it means is you're monitoring more than one card, right? You're gonna have like multiple timers running at the same time, which can get pretty tricky, right? And in my case, right, for this particular auction, when you're monitoring by a dozen cards, okay, it can get pretty wild, which I'm going to tell you guys in just a moment. And lastly, something important to remember. Remember I said that you needed to link your credit card and on the auction site, eBay, and you're good to go, right? Well, for Goldin, that works the same way, but as a new user on the platform, you are assigned a starting credit limit of just $10,000. Now, $10,000 is a lot of money. You can build a lot of cards, but if you're aiming for one of those big ticket items, especially the ones that's on Goldin platform, $10,000 is normally not enough. Okay, so but the fact that you have this additional credit limit is very important in explaining the strategy which I had going in. Okay, so this July auction was kind of like the auction that I look forward to, right? So a few big ticket items and a few small items which I could try to get for a good price. If this was a PWCC auction or eBay, I would have been like all over the place, right? I would have just all over the board and like tried to bid on every single thing I could see. But because of this was Goldin, so therefore it had the element of constraint, which is the credit limit that I talked to you about. Now I'm not going to share with you what my credit limit is, but basically I'm just restricted to buy maybe one big ticket item and potentially a few smaller cards. Now the big ticket item I'm referring to is, the first one was the Spider-Gwen PMG Rainbow Lot. The second one was the Wolverine 2013 Flair Retro Blue Precious Metal Gems, and the third was a 2013 Flair Retro Master Set, right? So kind of like the complete set for all the cards raw, right, in that 2013 retro set, with exception of two sets of inserts, which is the PMGs and the Jambalayas, right? Now this particular lot actually appeared on Goldin about 2 months ago, I believe, right? And it sold for about $7,000, right? So it was funny to actually see this particular lot reappearing again. So either it was a release or this was actually a second master slot that's being listed. Now, a bit of story time on this one. I actually missed out on this auction, or missed out on this master set 2 months ago, because I stuffed up the credit limit calculation and I was unable to place a higher bid during the extended bidding period because I was tapped out, right? I was bidding on a bunch of cards, I didn't pay attention to my available credit limit, and I couldn't increase my bid on this particular master set unless I was going to be outbid on the other stuff. Which eventually I was outbid on some of the stuff that I was going for, but this particular lot had already ended, so I was devastated to kind of like miss out on this particular set. Sorry. So anyway, 3 lots are expected to exceed at least $10,000 in value. So the limited credit limit I had once again had to make me think more creatively on how I wanted to stay in the running for all 3 lots. And obviously this was going to be a challenge, right? So however, a few hours before the auction's closing time, I received this email, right? And what it basically meant was that master slot was now out of the running, right? It was taken off from the listing. So kind of like a blessing, I suppose, which meant I could concentrate on the Wolverine and the Gwen Rainbow lot. Okay, so I placed all my initial bids, to be in the running for all the stuff that I wanted to go after, which included a number of 2013 PMG Reds, right? Spider-Man 2015 PMG Red as well, the Venom 2015 Jambalaya, okay, as well as the Silk partial rainbow lot, right, from the 2017 Flip Ultra Spider-Man. So when the clock actually hit 10 p.m. Eastern, that's when all the action began, right? So almost immediately, all the initial bids got outbidded, right? So all the clocks started to reset into the respective periods, although they had like maybe a minutes or seconds apart, which was got pretty exciting. And because of the clock situation, right, so I needed to make sure that I was paying very close attention to the Wolverine and the Gwen. So I wanted to see whether I could lock either one of these two pieces early on, so that I could focus on the remaining smaller items, right? And also that depended on the price of the Gwen or the Wolverine, right? Depending on where it landed. So I was continuously increasing my bids on the PMG risk, just on the minimum bids, right? Talking about $25, $50, whatever that was allowed. I was getting outbidded on that one automatically, but that allowed me to kind of like refresh the clock to give me as much time as possible to really focus on the Gwen and the Wolverine, right? So at the same time, you have this mindful or mental math, to keep in mind on the credit limit that you have, to make sure that you had enough ammunition to go for either the Wolverine or the Gwen, right? So at that time, in my mind, I set a price point for the Wolverine, right? That I wanted to go as high as at $12,500 on the Wolverine before buyer's premium. That works up to about $15,000 with buyer's premium. But surprisingly, less into an hour into the whole process, I managed to snap up the Wolverine for just $9,000. I don't say just now, $9,000 is a lot of money, but for $9,000, which is way below them on my initial target of $12,500. And by ending early and that price, that means I kind of still had a mathematical shot to get the Gwen as well. So during this time, so the Gwen rainbow lot, okay, was kind of rising, right? It was going from $8,000, $10,000, $12,000, $14,000, right? So at this point, I just decided to put my one final bid, which was $15,000. This was before buyer's premium, and just waited. And it took almost a full 30 minutes, right, before someone actually outbid and topped me up at $16,000. And at that point in time, I was officially out of the Gwen race. But because I had dedicated so much of my credit capital to the Gwen in bidding, I kind of like let a number of 2013 PMG red pieces go because they ended earlier before the Gwen, right? And these were the PMG red Venom, the Apocalypse, the Ghost Rider, and I mentioned some of these pieces during my chat with Ginger Man Cards that these really went for low prices. I believe the Venom was like $400 plus dollars, the Ghost Rider was like $600, so they went for reasonable prices. They were BGS 9 slabs, right? So I would just turn, after having lost the Gwen, I turned my attention to what was remaining, and I looked at the red PSA 9 2013 PMG Deadpool, okay, as well as the 2015 red Spider-Man. But at this point, I guess maybe a lot of the good stuff, right, the big ticket items are gone, and most people who didn't really come up with anything decided to just go all in on both the Deadpool and the Spidey, and both ended above $3,000, which is more than what I wanted to go for. And then finally, with just a Doctor Strange remaining on the board, right, so PSA 8, and already 2 hours into the auction, I kind of like decided that that's gonna call it a day, and I just walked away from the remaining auctions and just shut my laptop after just 2 hours of sitting in front of the laptop, just working the screens and working the clocks, right? So I was extremely happy with my purchase, with the Wolverine and the price itself. I do absolutely think that the Gwen could have gone a bit higher, and I would have pushed harder if I could, right? But $19,000 is a lot of money for a non-top tier character, even though a popular as character, popular as Gwen, right? So the draw was obviously the PMG green, PSA 9 slab. The purple is nice too, but you gotta look past that PSA 6. There's only 5 copies in total for the purple PMG, so you might never see a purple Gwen in public auction ever again. Now the rest of the PMG reds that went by, most of them ended at what I call a fair number. It's definitely not as low as what we saw previously. The $100, $200, right? I probably think that you'll never get back there, but definitely those ended up in fair and reasonable prices, in my opinion. So that pretty much recap my Goldin experience, right? The takeaway, I guess, for you guys is to plan ahead, right, for these kind of auctions. Sometimes without proper planning, you tend to not get the card you want, or you tend to get caught up with the action or the adrenaline with that matter and buy the stuff you don't necessarily want as well. Just because you spend the time and you want to walk away with something. That's the danger of auctions, right? So I keep reminding people that there are many cards out there for you to buy, right? The fun is actually the hunt and to get what exactly that you're looking for. Okay, that's it for me here. Do like and subscribe to this channel for more content. I'll see you guys next time. Cowboys out.